If you feel drained by interruptions, people, and commitments, you just might be an Enneagram 5, and this episode is for you. This is 9 in 9 Enneagram Wisdom for Life. Let's dive in. Welcome to the one question that changes everything. This material has been inspired by my work in Enneagram classes and with my students and clients because I have seen the power of using a question to really evoke self-awareness and change. So I know it works, and I'm excited to welcome you here today. So, as an Enneagram 5, you are probably already very aware that you live in your head. It's just true. Fives are the most thinking dominant of all the numbers. Fives are in constant state of analysis, a constant state of inquisition, and this is what makes them the investigators. And so, as a 5, one of the traits that you're going to kind of overdo is being in your head and thinking more than you are allowing for feeling and for doing. Now, the second thing is a sense of scarcity. And what this means is having a sense that I don't have all of the things that I need to be safe. And that if I don't hoard or take in or collect what I need to be safe, this includes time, resources, money, space, privacy. If I don't collect and hoard these things, then I may not get them later. And so it's like a constant scarcity issue of just feeling the need to keep things close to you and to keep things in like your safe, controlled zone. And, this does help you feel like you're more in control, and control makes you feel safe. It makes you feel secure. If you don't have to depend on somebody else for resources, for time, for energy, for anything, then that feels very secure and safe to you. And then the other thing we notice is that there is an excessive use of boundaries. And while, of course, some boundaries are healthy and good, the fives tend to use boundaries to keep people and threat away. And so it's a use of boundaries to distance themselves from relationship or from emotion and from having to rely or be dependent on anybody else. So, a couple examples come to mind when I think about these boundaries. And one is one that is so innate to a 5 that you may not even see it as a boundary. And that is this awareness of energy. So, many times we talk about the 5 having an energy cup. And they can tell you exactly how much energy will be drained from the cup by their work, by conversations that they have to have at work, if they have to do a parent responsibility. They can tell you how much energy everything will take. And so they're kind of constantly putting up boundaries because they may not have the right energy. So they might say no to something that actually sounds really fun because they're too nervous, and they're, again, back to scarcity. They're worried about having the energy to move forward with that. So the question for a 5 is, how can I be generous with my resources today? How can I be generous with my resources today? Now, I want to define resources as time, energy, money, conversation, presence, anything that you bring to the table, knowledge, wisdom. How can I be generous with my resources today? The reason this works so beautifully for an Enneagram 5 is that it reattaches you to emotion, to people, and to human connection. When you have a sense of generosity and abundance, it combats scarcity, and it allows you to have important connections and important relationships, and it puts you more in touch with your true emotions. It helps you get attached instead of being detached. And I've already said it, but the second reason this works is because it reinforces abundance. When you have an abundant mindset, you will find more abundance. And so, going back to maybe not feeling like you have the energy for that after work, spur of the moment birthday party that somebody wants you to go to. Of course, your natural reaction is going to be, wait, I didn't plan that. It's not on my agenda. I don't think I'll have the energy for it. And you're going to want to say no. However, it could be the beginning of maybe a friendship that you didn't know was available to you. Or it could be that you find somebody there with a similar hobby or interest that you get to connect over outside of the workplace. When you have an abundance mindset, then you get to trust that the energy will be there. So, the third reason this works is when you're generous with your time and resources, then other people can be generous to you. And it's a really, really good practice for an Enneagram 5 to allow other people to help them. It is a way that will build relationship and connection with everybody that you're in touch with. And so I want you to be brave and really not feel like you have to have it all figured out, not feel like you have to say the perfect thing or write the perfect email or show up in the perfect way. And I want you to just start saying yes, because you being present, you speaking up, you sharing your thoughts, this is a way that you can be generous. So to recap, the question is, how can I be generous with my resources today? This is going to help you reattach to connection, to relationships, and to emotions. It's going to reinforce abundance in their mindset. And then it's also going to allow your generosity will allow other people to be generous with you. Now, if you loved this and you want more, I just want to invite you to check out one of our Enneagram classes. You just go to livingwellbyjen.com/Enneagram, and all the information and details are there. We'd love to have you in our next round of classes.